Hi, this is Tejas Shah with Compliance Solutions, Global Money Movement and Compliance Group. Today's tip is on how do you create custom mapping in Tableau. So for this tutorial, we'll be using two primary files. One is an image file and another is sample data. So let me just show you what the image is. In this scenario, we're basically going to take an image of a camera and look at where are all of the defects occurring within a camera. So in this case, we'll take any of these buttons or sensors within the camera and use that to show how many potential defects there were for a given period of time through a heat map in Tableau. So that's the image, and this is the sample file that we'll be using. There's just 5 columns, and I'll kind of go through each of these individually. First is the month and year. And in month and year, I just have 4 months of data. We could potentially have 10 different defects on this camera, so I've labeled it defect 1 through 10. And on the volume, I just created a random number between, for most of them, it's 100 to 500. As you see here, couple like the defect number 1, 9, and 10, I've just specified the defects to be 1,000 to 5,000 range, just so we have some variation and we can see the size difference in Tableau. And then we also have these X and Y columns. The X column is going to be the latitude and Y is the longitude. And right now I just have it set to 100. This is something that we're going to be updating once we import the image into Tableau, and you'll see that in a second here. So this is the file. Let me go ahead and open up Tableau. And I'm going to go ahead and connect to that Excel spreadsheet. And you'll see all of the columns as I shown in Excel appear here. One thing to note is the X and the Y are coming in as number or numeric value, and that's true. However, we want to make this a geographic item, right? So going to the pound sign or the hashtag or the number sign, change it from the number to the geographic role of latitude for the X. So you'll see that here. And then on the Y, we're going to change the role to longitude. Okay, so that's the very first step you do in Tableau. Then let's create the visual. So I'm going to go ahead and drag X and pill into the column and Y into the rows. And on the analysis, I'm going to uncheck aggregate measures. And this is where Tableau really shines. I'm going to go ahead and make this entire view and select map, background images, and you're going to select the only option, in this case because of the name of the source, is called sample. So I'm going to go ahead and click sample. And here is your dialog box where nothing is included, the name, valid, required field. So what you're going to do is click on add image. And then this is where you will find your file, right? So you're going to browse for the file, and I want to use this image file, the Sony a6000 image. So I'm going to go ahead, click on browse, go find the location of the folder and select the image, click open. And one thing you have to do is specify the width and the length of the coordinates. So if you just go back to your computer and hover over the image, this shows the dimensions being 1352 by 972. So 1352 represents the widest X value, and 972 represents the tallest Y value. So I'm going to go ahead and on the X field on the right, I'm going to put 1352, and on the Y, again, that's 972. So I'm going to put on the top value 972. It's essentially saying X goes from 0 to 1352 here, and Y will go from 0 down here at the bottom to the top of 972. and then click on apply and OK, and hit OK. So you'll see all the marks being on the 100 because that's where our spreadsheet listed all the defects to be. This is something that we need to change, and I'll show you that. Before we get started, I could use the X and Y axis ranges to kind of figure out what the proximity is, but that's not accurate, especially when you're getting very precise in your shapes and the location. So what I typically do is right click here and remove the headers, right click and then uncheck the box that says show header. So now I have the full visual of the image, and then I'm going to go ahead and right click on all the potential defects to get the X and Y coordinates. And in order to do that, I'll speed up the video so you don't have to see the whole thing, but on the first one I'll go slowly. Right click here, select annotate and select point. So we're going to call this the first defect, and I'm just going to go ahead and click OK because it already shows me the X and Y coordinates. And there you go. This is my defect 1 X and Y coordinates. So what I can do is drag this around here so I'll have more room. So I'm going to go do this for all of them. Point, click OK. I'll go ahead and update these points here now. Let me just minimize this a bit. I see the first point is 205.4 and 923.9, so I'm going to go ahead and type that. And then the second point is here. Okay, now that I have all the defects 1 through 10 listed, since this is just a copy of 1 through 10, I'm just going to go ahead and copy and paste down again for the 4 months. So all the defect number 1 should be the same. So if I check that here, you'll see all defects 1 is 205.4 and 923.9. And likewise, it'll be the same for all the defects. So let me go ahead and save this and close it. And then I'm going to go ahead and delete these points now because I no longer need them. I've already established the coordinates in my data source. Okay. So now let's go ahead and refresh the data. There, the XY coordinates are now updated. Let's go standard. So next what I'm going to do is, because we have all of our data XY coordinates updated and the defect volume, let's just start populating the measures. So first thing I want to do is select the year and month filter, and I can, let's say you wanted to do this by months. Just select all, click OK. And then I also wanted to know the defect volume by month, and I wanted to represent that in color. Defect. What I'm going to do here is put also defect volume by size, and into the color section, click on edit colors, and I like to use step colors just to show a range of defects, low being a lighter shade, and the more defects, the highest maximum defects in the darker shade. And I'll go ahead and select red for this example. Click apply and click OK. So you can already see, you start seeing color represented here. And I'm also going to change, let's go to the shape and make this a solid circle. And size, let's update the size here, because I want to be able to see all of the defects here. And then let's hide this title for now, just so we have more room to work with. And I know this card here. So you'll start seeing that this image has been updated with all of the defect volume, and the months that had the highest, the item that had the highest defect is in the darker red versus these that have lighter volume, right? So you can see defect, let's just put item on the label. So defect number 4 had 469 defects for these 4 months, while defect number 10 had 4,368 defects. So there you go. So now you can view all of the 10 defects. There may be some that have very minimal. This is how you would build a custom image map and tie it to your data. I will be including this image as well as the spreadsheet and my Tableau file for your reference on the ADP Works page. If you have any questions, please comment below and we'll try to answer as many questions as we can. Thank you, and please share what you come up with utilizing this method.